What up, fam? Let's see here. Let's see if we can get this situated here. What up? Thanks for joining. Let's see. Just trying to get this camera kind of situated. Here we go. How's it going, guys? Welcome to the 9 o'clock Famili Nightly broadcast. And tonight we're going to talk about having the choice. So first off, thanks for joining the family. I'll kind of wait a couple seconds to see a few people log on, get going here. We do this every night. We talk about all kinds of different things, and tonight, I think it's really important to think about like what we have the choice to do. And I think one of the things that we forget is that we have the choice for everything. We have the choice to feel, to breathe, to be here, to go to work, to not go to work, to choose our job, to choose what we want to do or we don't want to do, right? So that's like the beauty of our life, but like we forget that we have the choice, right? And it was like I had this like moment the other day where it's like I was choosing to maybe, it's like I'm dancing down the street, I'm listening to my music, I'm walking my dog, and I'm like dancing and having a good time. And I noticed that there was like this car that drove by, and I had this like feeling of like, what do they think, And it's like, what? And then I had this moment of like, well, I don't really care. And it's like I have the choice to be embarrassed or to care whether I'm dancing or not. And like I think that's what's crazy, that we actually like think that it could be a big deal that someone is what up Overly? We're talking about feeling and having the choice. And we have the choice, like we have the choice to feel, right? So we have the choice to make these decisions in our life. Hey, what's up? Thanks for joining. And yeah, it's the tribe. And I just want to talk about what's up as we're joining. Thanks for joining. We're talking about having the choice to feel, having the choice to make choices. And like, what up? And, it's like when we have a choice, like we have a choice to feel embarrassed about whether someone thinks something or they don't think something, or if I'm worried if I'm dancing down the street, if someone cares whether I'm dancing or not. If I'm dancing down the street, then I shouldn't care. And if I do care, then where does that come from? Who told me that it mattered to care, right? So I think it's funny that like a lot of us like feel like we, one of the biggest things that I was thinking about to talk about was like feeling forced to do something, like feeling that pressure, and it like gives you that guilt, right? Like that obligated, like I need to do something and I don't really want to, right? But most of us are really nice people, and so a lot of times like we will do things that like we go out of our way for. And sometimes that's a good thing because we definitely want to be there for people. But sometimes I think, we feel that guilt and that obligation to do or feel something for someone when really it's like maybe that's not energetically feeling right for us. Like it doesn't really feel like, okay, that's what I really want to do, right? So it's like, how do we get rid of that obligation? Well, we just really care about that other person, but maybe that other person needs us to say no. Like maybe that's a lesson for them. So like we have to do what we need to do. So we have to be honest with ourselves. It's like creating that personal development of being aware of like, yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's like a tit for tat. It's like an energetic flow, right? So I mean, yes, you want to get something out of it. And it's like, as a healer, it's like when someone feels better, I definitely feel better. So it's like, that's what I get out of that. But like, it's like, what is that, And sometimes it's taking away from us to do something or not do something. Yeah. And so it's like, maybe we don't make that choice and we say, okay, I love you and I appreciate what you're going through and all of that. But in all honesty with myself, I'm not feeling that I need to go to this place or do this thing or go to a party or whatever it may be. And sometimes it's just not within that power, and it's not a personal thing. And it's like for us to go energetically with what we truly feel inside. And it's even knowing what that is. It's like being truth with that. So, I mean, things like that come up, we get frustrated and angry, right? That's another one, like that rage that comes into us. Like, yeah, totally. And we got to beat it to that for ourselves. So it's like, sometimes we come up with like that rage and anger, like I was saying. That's something that can happen a lot these days, like this stress that comes into our life, right? And that's like that fear and that vulnerability that we have inside of us that comes up because we're angry about something. When you're frustrated, it's that vulnerability, the powerlessness, the like, I'm angry because I can't have my power. I can't be who I want to be, right? So this is like that thing that comes into us and it takes us over. A lot of times it distracts our day. We can't focus on work or relationships. It's totally like a hate volcano, and it totally distracts you, right? That's awesome. Hate volcano. Yeah. And it's like, what are you going to do with that? Right? Like, what do you do with that energy when it feels like it's overwhelming you? Well, one of the biggest things that we can do is like come into ourselves. Like, right, all we have right now is ourselves in this time that we have right now. Hey, what's up? Thanks for logging on. And we're talking about having the choice to feel. And so it's like when we have a choice to like feel hate or sadness or anger inside of us, it's really that vulnerability inside of us, that thing that makes us feel powerless, that fear of like, I can't be me, or I can't make that choice, right? So it's like, I feel like, it's like when you're angry, you feel like you don't have a choice. Like you feel like, what am I going to do, right? Yeah, sometimes we need to rant though. Sometimes that rant makes us feel better, and after you rant, sometimes it creates that calmness. But sometimes if you are angry, in trying to step away from the anger, creating that calmness inside of you, if you can just breathe through it, take a couple deep breaths, that's one thing that we do always have the choice for. So when you're in that fear, that vulnerability, that rage, that anger, that frustration that's coming up inside of you, you have a choice to take a breath. That's something that you always have a choice to do. And if you don't, then you can't really go on day to day, right? So let's make a choice to take a breath. And so when we're in these stressful moments, hey, what's up? Let's make a choice to take a breath, because sometimes when you can do that, you kind of have to, but it's like a conscious choice to like, hey, what's up? Thanks for joining. We're talking about having the choice to feel, and we have a choice to feel jealous. We have a choice to feel rage and anger. And right now we're kind of on the anger and vulnerability, powerlessness. Hey, and so it's like, you're awesome over there right now. And it's like creating that calmness inside of us is something we have a choice by taking that breath. And so like, yes, we have to breathe, in our breaths, like so that we can live and whatever. But like if we're in those moments of sadness, frustration, anger, take a breath. You have a choice to take a deep breath, a conscious, fill your lungs, breath, release. And that can be something so huge within inside of us that we forget, because 9 times out of 10, when you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling upset, you're going through this for yourself, the problem is that we don't remember to breathe. Like our whole body tenses up. Like before you know it, you're like, oh wait, I wasn't breathing, because that's how stressed out I was. Like if you can let that anger, that stress inside of you create that flag of like, oh, wait a minute, I'm having a feeling, and create that calmness within inside of you to take that breath and bring yourself back, then you have that choice to create a new reality for yourself. Instead of, creating a fight with your mom or a coworker or something inside of you that distracts you away from your work and everything that you're doing, we have the choice to make these actions in our life, to take a breath, to walk away, to feel more empowered and feel that calmness inside of us. We make better choices. We create more truth when we can feel calmness. When we are coming at people with rage and anger and passion, we're not really taking the time to really feel it out and think it out what we really want. Because when you're in that, you're totally in your head and you're just winding with these thoughts, right? So you don't really get that truth for what you really need. And the truth is what we're looking for. Everyone really wants to come across as they truly are, right? We just want to be ourselves, and we want to be seen as ourselves. So when we are able to do that, then we can create that truth and that integrity for ourselves for making that choice. And I think that's one thing that we really, hey guys, what's up? Thanks for joining. We're talking about having the choice to feel, the choice to create situations for ourselves. Like, what do you guys feel about that as you're logging on? Like, how do you feel about making the choice for yourself? I feel like that's one thing that a lot of us feel like we can't do, is make that choice. And it's like we get into these bully situations, these tough situations that we feel obligated for. What's up? And it's like, what do we do in those situations? And I think a lot of us feel stuck, but the idea is that we can step back. What up, holla? We're talking about the choice. Do you have the choice? What do you feel? I feel like sometimes we feel obligated, we feel worried, or ¿Cómo estás? What up? You know, we have this choice to feel and say things that we want without really caring what anyone else thinks, you know, and that's the thing is I think a lot of us really want, hey, what's up? We really do care. Hey, we care about what other people think. We don't want to hurt other people, but it's not really about hurting anybody if you're true to yourself and you keep that integrity. It's like, it's the way you come off. And I think that's what like kind of comes off the wrong way is when someone's like, no, sorry, I don't want to do that for you. It's like, well, we're talking about having the choice to feel, thank you, the choice to feel, the choice to breathe, the choice to have an action. When you're angry, do you want to spit fire at the people you love? Like, that's what we're talking about. No, you don't. Really, nobody really does. And is that really the truth inside of you? So, like, we're talking about that choice to choose. Like, what do you feel about that? Do you ever feel like you don't have the choice or you feel obligated to do something? We're not going to talk about that. Yeah, I am actually. I actually have an international gig next month on the 14th. I'm going to be down at the Rosarito Beach Hotel at the Sun Gallery. We're going to be talking about inner beauty, and we're bringing in the international inner beauty, so it's going to be really fun. Yeah, I do a lot of different speaking about a lot of different things, and I'm also here with the family. Kind of, yeah. I mean, here in the family is like we're a group of just people that love and care and want to see this planet evolve and change, and we want to talk about it, and we want to talk about actually feeling and actually knowing and breaking down what we do so that we can come off as authentic and we can create a world that is that. And I think that's what this is all about, is creating that and us being more of yes, this is all progressive. I call myself a spiritual evolutionary entrepreneur, and I do many, many different things in evolution. I appreciate people like you. And, you know, thanks for coming on here and logging on to talk to us. You know, what the family represents, and we're on here every night at 9, one of our family members. And what we're all about is the world tribeism. And I talked about this the other night. And it's all about, yeah, the worldism is actually like doing things for the world and showing that love that we have to create what we live on, right? Because I don't live in America. Okay, I might, but I also live on Earth. Like, I live on Earth before I live in America. So let's like create what that worldism is, right? And a tribeism is the culture and the creativity, that structure that synergizes together to show that, right? And it's all different things in many different ways depending on the culture that you're in, right? But this tribe is the world tribeism. Everybody can be in it. Everybody is in it. Let's be in love with each other and the value that we all hold for that. And that's what we're talking about. And, you know, we, yeah, right? That's a fairy food. No. So this is all about growing and evolving together and being that and being one and letting us all be individuals as we do that. You know, I think that like part of like that choice is that we don't get to choose to be that individual because somebody has a thought or an opinion about what it is that we are or our opinion of it. And then when they have that opinion about us, then we think that we're supposed to care about what their opinion is. And yeah, maybe you can care, but do you feel that way about yourself? Because 9 times out of 10, when someone says something to you, you don't feel that way about yourself, right? But you're like, oh, maybe. No, like, let me be who I want to be. Thank you. Like, let's just be who we want to be and let that be okay and not judge people for wanting to be that. Like, if we weren't our individuals, wouldn't the world be so boring if we were all the same? Like, that's what this is all about. No, we're not all the same, and we're all very special for who we are. I use the analogy, this is like one of my favorite ones, I'll tell for the people that haven't heard this, is it's like a puzzle, right? We're all a piece of it, right? The earth, everything that we're here, we're all a piece of this one big puzzle, right? Yeah. Yeah. And so this puzzle is the I am source. Like, I am that, right? I'm special. I have something to give to the planet, right? Hello, I'm super special. We all are. Not just me, you too. All of you guys. And we want to give purpose to that specialness, because without that one little piece on the puzzle that's that special shape and that special color, it wouldn't be important, right? So that one piece is missing. It's not a full puzzle. So each and one of you and me and everyone around us is all a piece of that puzzle. And what's your preciousness? Like, what makes you stand out, you know? And we want to find what that is, and we want to link you all into this one big puzzle and find out what we all are. You know, it's like, you can even call it like a play, like, right, when you're in a play, there's like the leader, and then there's like the one-liner. I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, what do you mean by fate? Like, what does that mean to you, actually? Let's ask that question. Like, what do you believe fate means to you? Like, I think that there's a lot of different things that we can take. Like, does everything happen for a reason? Maybe. I mean, maybe it does, but I think energy is able to be moved and manipulated, you know? And so it's like, okay, what energy do you want to flow with? Do you want to block with it, or do you want to allow it to flow? It's like, that's kind of like, maybe it happens for a reason, but maybe it was attracted to you in one way or another because of some action or thought or feeling that you had towards it, your belief in it. If you believe you're a failure, then you continue to be a failure. It's like someone's like, oh, I always meet like guys or girls. Like, I always meet like deadbeats, or I always meet these girls that are lame. Like, you know, if you keep saying that, then yeah, you're going to keep meeting that partner that's lame and deadbeat, right? So it's like that energy that you put forth that comes back at you. And I think that's one thing that we really need to remember in having that choice in where we want to go and how we want to be. Off childhood. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, that's like a whole nother conversation, but yeah, childhood is where it really, really stems from. And we hold on to a lot of, you know, those fears, because we spend a lot of time in childhood being in survival mode and not knowing that we have a choice. And a lot of times we feel like we don't have a choice as a child because, you know, we're given all these rules and stuff, right? So there's no idea of a choice. But as we get older, we don't realize that we actually have a choice. Hey, girl. Hey, I got your voice message. I was going to write you back, but it's been from one to the next. I was with Lindsay. Anyways, so talking about the choice, you know, and feeling that choice within us is that we get to choose. We get to be that. Yeah. And it's like, what if we just went around completely, because that's what I know I did as a child. And, you were, yeah, this is like totally what's been downloading in me, is this whole choice. Nice. Oh, of course. That's what it is. Of course I'm tapped into that, Rue. Why would I not be? Okay, people. So this is how it works. Yes, ma'am. This is how it works, is that we're all super tapped in to what's really going on, and we don't even need to read about it. It's just our intuition is, no, I'm not. I'm high on life. Yeah. We're talking about the choice. We're talking about the choice to choose to feel. And I think for a really long time, part of my pain story is that I was bullied when I was a kid, and I was told that, you know, I wasn't good enough and I was ugly and all of these things. And, you know, we would trade stickers, and like 2 of my stickers was good for 1 of theirs or whatever, you know, and it's like, I chose to be like, oh yeah, okay, I am not good enough to where I have to give you 2 stickers for 1. Like, I'm not good enough. Yes, that's it. And I made the choice, you know, and I've looked back on that child, and I've talked to her, and I've said, you know, you do have the choice. Like, there is another perception of the situation. Like, what makes your stickers better than mine? It doesn't, or it does. Like, okay, you think they are great. I hope you have fun with that. Like, you can take different situations in one way or another. We can choose to be bullied or not bullied. We can choose to become the bully, right? So how many perceptions, hey, what's up? How many perceptions can we have in one situation? And I think a lot of us feel very stuck or obligated or guilty and forced into feeling that we instantly feel, right? So it's like a situation comes into you and you automatically feel something, then it's like, okay, that's what I have to feel about it. This is the way I'm going to take the situation. Do you really have to take it that way? Or can you stop for a second and be like, whoa, okay, this is the way my initial reaction was on this certain situation. This is how I feel about it. But is that truly how I feel about it? Or am I feeling challenged or not good enough or powerless right now? You know, maybe I don't really feel jealous. Right. I mean, what's right and wrong for you though? And like allowing you to be, yourself and let that be okay. Because like, that's what I was saying before, is that like a lot of times we say something that it's just words, totally. And it's like, but a lot of people take those just words like on as like so much more. And it feels like, oh, this is painful, or you don't like me, or what I said was embarrassing. And it's like, is it embarrassing? We choose to let it be embarrassing, but really it's just like, well, maybe it's embarrassing, but, or maybe it's just the way I feel about it. And if you don't, then that's okay. You don't have to feel that way. And like letting it be okay, and letting it just kind of flow with the energy. Well, maybe I said something funny. Maybe I said the wrong word. It's funny. But like, I used to take that seriously, like, oh, I'm not good enough. I just messed up, you know, and then now I'm wrong, and I'm ugly, and I'm bad, and I'm wrong, like sad, and now I'm mad and vulnerable and raging anger and powerless and all these things that make me feel not good enough. And that kind of builds up those energy walls around us to where we like hide and shy away. And I don't think that's really fair at all. And it's a choice that we make. So, in talking about this choice that we have, you know, one of the biggest things that I can give, and one of the tools I teach in classes and meetups and so on and so forth, is the pause. And that's what I call it. And it's really, really helpful to create that for yourself. In noticing excuse me, I'm having a feeling, right? I feel something right now. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling jealousy. I'm feeling anxious or stressed out. What is anxious and stressed out, right? You don't even really know what that feeling is, but when that comes into you, when a situation comes up, someone at work is frustrated, or your mom's frustrated, or your boyfriend or your husband, and you instantly feel stressed or anxious, and so you're like, you like bark at them, like, don't do this, or why are you doing that, or whatever. And it's an instant reaction because of the feeling that you had for your first reaction, your first moment of feeling. And then maybe a few minutes later, you're like, man, maybe I shouldn't have reacted that way. I kind of came off mean, and I didn't mean to, right? So how do we not put ourselves in those situations? So this is what I'm calling the pause, right? So it's like creating that pause. Everyone has a feeling and a thought, right? Or a thought or a feeling, whichever one comes first for you in whatever moment, right? And after that, what usually comes is the action and reaction. It's like a thought, feeling, action, reaction. Feeling, thought, action, reaction. Like, what is it? What up, Alexa, robot? Thanks for joining. So it's like we're talking about like this action reaction, right? So it's like, this is what happens, and it's like a constant, it's almost like a throw up of energy. Like, I have a thought, a feeling, an action, reaction. And it's like oh, well, now I've reacted and I can't go back, and they're like thinking I'm crazy, or I'm yelling, or I'm screaming. But you don't think you pause, you could be missing out on something. Maybe, but no, maybe you could actually be finding something. No, I'm not. So I'm high on life. Okay, so it's like, it's not creating a pause in that you're missing anything. If anything, it's like that you're creating the pause within yourself to feel what you really think about the situation, what you really feel about it. Like, what do you really feel about it, right? So it's like you take the pause to be like, it's a total series of event, and sometimes you don't really know what that series or that event really means to you. So you can even tell the person you're talking to, hold on, I'm going to process what I'm thinking for just a second. You know, we're talking about the right to choose, choice of feeling, thought, the choice to move on. And I'm kind of giving you a tool right now that I think a lot of people really need, is that we have a thought or a feeling, an action and reaction, and we choose to react very quickly after we have these thoughts or feelings, or we feel obligated to react. Like, people are just like, oh, what are you going to say? What's next? What's next? I asked you a question. Are you going to answer? Like, yeah, I'm going to answer, but maybe I just need to feel it out, like what my answer is. And I don't think we make that choice to do that. And sometimes, and most of the time, maybe not for everyone, it just depends on how it works. And the situation, you feel like you maybe bite your tongue or come off the wrong way. And you're like, man, if I just would have thought about that for a second, then I would have realized that I needed to say it like this instead of like that. And so creating that pause, weakness. I don't know about that. I don't know that it's like, maybe it's weakness if you want to create that for yourself, but it's being able to create that pause. So I have a thought or a feeling. Whoa, I'm having a feeling right now. And give yourself a minute to realize, okay, I'm having a feeling, and let that be okay. Like, let it be okay that I'm having a feeling. I'm not really sure what that is, because sometimes anxiety and stress is so unknown. What is that even? I have anxiety. Okay, cool. Is that sadness? Are you upset? Are you pissed? Are you jealous? Like, what is that anxiety that you're holding on to? And where is it in your body? Like, which chakra are you holding it in? Are you holding it in your solar plexus, where your power is? You know, like, where is it that you're holding that pain that you're holding on to? Find that for yourself, because what up? So when you find that pain, then you can realize, okay, I understand why I'm feeling stressed about this situation. It's more about like how I feel, and I'm feeling like I want that, or I feel like I'm not good enough to have that. And so I'm going to react to that other person like they're not good enough because that makes me feel better or whatever for the moment. And so that was your instant reaction. And so you can have that choice to pause and be like, oh, that's actually what I'm feeling. Because a lot of times, for example, say you're feeling jealous. Jealousy is really nothing. It's something that tells you that you want something that someone else has and maybe you want to take it away. 9 times out of 10, people don't want to do that to someone else. Okay, well, this is a great conversation for you then, because jealousy is like, okay, you don't want to take something away from someone, right? Like you're not really that person in your heart, and you don't really want what they have. You want what you want, right? You want to create your own purpose. So does that really make you jealous? Not really. Jealousy is that feeling of being powerless or feeling not so good enough. You know, so it's like, why do we not feel good enough to feel love for ourselves in that moment and want to create what we want, right? So instead of projecting, I'm jealous of you, it's more of what's wrong with me in this moment. Excuse me. I'm going to take a drink of my drink here. When you don't see someone, like, what do you mean? Add to that for me. All of a sudden I got like, my throat's messed up, can't talk, I've been talking so much. So we're talking about the choice. And I've been given a lot of the girl, she got me in my feels. Oh, I'm sure. So why? Like, what is it that you feel? Like, let's break that down. Like, where do you feel this pain? Like, what is it that happened that like makes you feel something? Is it in your heart, your power source? With these feelings, what makes us human. We live in the moment as we learn. Yeah, totally. We totally live in the moment, and we do like feel them. And so it's like we want to feel them, but we also want to break them down so that we can know why we feel them and where it comes from. Yeah, there is pauses, and I think we need to create that to not let ourselves get carried away with these feelings, because then we get caught up in negativity. And we really just want to be positive. Some people don't, but a lot of people do. And that's why we want to talk about it. Aw. Well, can you call her? Sometimes we need to make that effort. Or call ourselves out. Like, sometimes it's good to say, like, what you did wrong or what you feel like your part in whatever the situation was. Cool. I'm intrigued by you. I love your questions. Yeah, because it's like, it's not about stopping your life. It's about flowing with it. But like, do we want to generate negativity? And I think a lot of times, like, it can be simple stuff. Like, you just walked into the coffee shop and the lady's like, what can I get you? And she's like, rude, right? And so then you walk out and you're like, man, that was so mean. She was rude. And now you're irritated. And so then you're like, then you stub your toe and now you're even more irritated. And you're irritated at someone at work and you're yelling at your mom, and it kind of just adds up, right? Projects total. And you just keep projecting that anger when it's really not yours. It wasn't even ever yours. It was a lady at the coffee shop that just kind of irritated you. And instead of you realizing like that was her pain and you didn't really come in there like that, you kind of took it on. It's like being an atom and becoming a free radical. There's like electrons that run around an atom, and when they become uneven, there's supposed to be 8 of them. And when they become uneven and one hops off that's not supposed to be on there, it becomes like this like crazy behavior, right? And it's like, it becomes what's called a free radical. Usually say or do things I regret later. Yeah, cool. You should try to pause. Like, it really helps. I used to do that too. I mean, I have pain stories. Like, I'm not perfect, and that's why we're talking about this. We're all super special, and we're all going through this together. I used to let myself get really, really angry, and I couldn't focus. I would have like road rage and stuff. That's what saying sorry is for. Yeah, we can say sorry, and we can totally go back and be like, okay, I learned something. But it's like noticing that, okay, I'm having road rage right now, but what is that purpose really serving me, And so it's being able to create that energy, because when we let ourselves be angry for a really long time or stressed out, it's like it tenses our muscles, like it starts to hurt us physically. It builds up in so many ways. It makes us sick. Sometimes people throw up, they get headaches. Like, it's just not a good thing. So if we can try to create that calmness within inside of us is what helps to bring that on another level to where we don't hold on to those densities so long. We don't want to make ourselves sick. Basically, the way I see it is that we are an energy density. We're energy density bodies, that we hold on to other energies and densities that we've built up to say, oh, I'm safe, by holding them on. But we don't really need them, so we can shed them off as we realize, okay, I don't really need to react that way anymore. I don't need to protect myself by that. I can be okay by who I am. So anyways, this has been a great talk, and I love all of your guys' input tonight. It was really fun chatting with you guys. This is the family.link. It's family with an I.link. We're on here every night at 9, and you can check us out on Facebook. We also have our website. We have free courses and classes that we put up on there in our resource center, and check out Family Maui as well. There's a lot going on there, and I just love that you guys come on here to talk about whatever we want to talk about, and tonight is your choice, and thank you for choosing to be here with the family. Check us out, family.link. We'll see you tomorrow night at 9.